I find my mother's will in a kitchen drawer on a Tuesday in October, and the ink is still wet on the page that erases me. Not metaphorically, literally, red pen marks, strike-throughs. My name, asterisk Cassidy A. Morrison asterisk, crossed out in 3 separate paragraphs replaced with surviving issue in my brother's neat, cramped handwriting. The lawyer's letterhead at the top, draft 3, dated 2 weeks ago. I'm holding it under the pendant light above my kitchen table, rain streaking the window behind me, and my hands won't stop shaking. The envelope it came in, Manila, business size, with a return address I don't recognize, was mixed in with a stack of mail my mother asked me to bring over last week. Just some papers from the accountant, she'd said, waving me off when I offered to sort them. Leave them on the counter, sweetheart. Sweetheart. I set the draft down, pick it up again, read the header one more time. RE, Amendment to Last WILL and Testament, Helena R. Morrison. My laptop is open beside me, the email thread still glowing on the screen. I found it 2 hours ago, forwarded accidentally in a chain my brother sent to our mother's phone. She still doesn't understand CC versus BCC. The subject line, Final Revisions Before Execution. There's a framed photo half buried under the papers. Me at 7, gap-toothed, standing between my parents at the Grand Canyon. My mother's hand is on my shoulder. She's smiling. Tell me, where are you watching from right now? Drop your city below. Because I need to know I'm not alone in this. That someone out there understands what it feels like to hold proof of your own erasure in your hands. My name is Cassidy Morrison. I'm 32 years old. I teach elementary art in a suburb outside Sacramento. I drive a 11-year-old Subaru. I have a cat named Toulouse, and until 3 hours ago, I believed my mother loved me. Not loved asterisk past tense like she's gone, she's alive. 71, sharp as ever, living in the house I grew up in with the garden she's tended for 40 years. We talk every Sunday. She sends me recipes. I send her photos of my students' watercolors. But I haven't been asterisk home asterisk, really home, inside that house for more than 10 minutes in almost 8 years. The estrangement was gradual. The kind that creeps in through small cruelties, a door that closes inch by inch until you're standing outside in the cold, and you don't remember when you stopped being welcome. It started the year I got divorced. No, it started before that. It started when I married Aaron in the first place. My mother didn't approve. He was older, a musician, unstable in her words. But I was 24 and in love, and for once I chose myself over her opinion. The marriage lasted 3 years. When it ended, amicably, no drama, just 2 people who wanted different lives, I thought she'd soften. Maybe even say I told you so and let me come home to lick my wounds. Instead, she froze me out. You made your bed, she said on the phone, her voice clipped and cold. Don't come crying to me now. I didn't cry to her. I cried to my friends, to my therapist, into Toulouse's fur at 2 in the morning. I rebuilt my life alone. And still, I called every Sunday. Still, I showed up for holidays, briefly, tensely, standing in the kitchen while my brother and his wife sat at the table. Still, I sent cards. Still, I hoped. Because she's my mother. And some part of me, some stupid, childish part, believed that if I was good enough, patient enough, she'd let me back in. The envelope arrived at my apartment 4 days ago. It wasn't addressed to me. It was addressed to my mother, but the street number was wrong, off by 2 digits. The mail carrier must have mixed it up, left it in my box instead. I almost walked it over to her house that afternoon, but something stopped me. The return address, Whitmore and Associates, estate planning attorneys. I knew that name. My mother had mentioned it last Christmas, casually, while we were washing dishes. I've been updating some paperwork, she'd said. Getting my affairs in order, you know how it is. I'd nodded, changed the subject, tried not to think about what affairs meant. But standing in my kitchen with the envelope in my hands, I thought about it. And I opened it. Inside, a cover letter, clipped to a red-lined draft of a will. The cover letter was addressed to my mother. Professional, formal. Dear Ms. Morrison, per our discussion on October 10th, please find enclosed draft 3 reflecting the amendments discussed. I scanned down. As requested, beneficiary designations have been revised to reflect distribution solely to your son, Marcus L. Morrison, and his issue. Previous references to Cassidy A. Morrison have been removed. I read it twice. 3 times. Previous references to Cassidy A. Morrison have been removed. My chest went tight. I flipped to the draft itself. 16 pages, legalese, dense and clinical, but on page 4 in red pen I saw it. A paragraph crossed out, my name in the middle of it, to my daughter Cassidy Ann Morrison I bequeath. The line continued in the original black text, but the red pen had struck through the whole section. In the margin, a handwritten note, remove per 1010 call, redistribute to MLM. MLM. Marcus. My brother. I flipped forward, found another instance, another strike-through, another note. Cassidy A. Morrison removed, update to surviving issue only. Page 8, page 11, page 14. Every mention of me crossed out. I sat down. The chair scraped loud against the tile. Toulouse jumped off the counter, startled. I read the whole draft. In the revised version, the one my mother and her lawyer were preparing to execute, I didn't exist. The house, Marcus. The investment accounts, Marcus. The small trust my grandfather had set up decades ago, meant to be split between his grandchildren, Marcus's kids. Even the paintings, the furniture, the family photo albums. To be distributed among surviving issue at executor's discretion. Surviving issue. I wasn't dead, I just didn't count. I don't know how long I sat there. Long enough for the rain to start. Long enough for the sky to turn slate gray. Long enough for my phone to buzz twice, Marcus, texting in the family group chat about Thanksgiving plans, and for me to ignore it. I opened my laptop, logged into my email, started searching. And that's when I found the thread. It was forwarded by accident, I'm sure of it. Marcus had sent an email to my mother's address. She still uses an old AOL account, barely checks it, and he'd CC'd me instead of BCCing the lawyer. A clerical error, one wrong click. The subject line, final revisions before execution. I opened it. Mom, confirming we're on track for signing next week. I've reviewed draft 3 and it looks good. Whitmore said he'll have the final clean copy ready by Friday. Let me know if you want me there when you sign, or if you'd rather keep it low-key. Below that, my mother's reply, sent from her phone. Loki is fine, this has been hard enough, I don't want a scene. Below that, an earlier message from Marcus. I know this isn't easy, but it's the right call. Cassidy made her choices, you don't owe her anything. I read that line until it burned into my retinas. Cassidy made her choices. I closed the laptop, opened it again, pulled up the draft, the email, the cover letter. Laid them out side by side on the table, like evidence, like pieces of a crime scene. Because that's what it felt like, a crime. Not legally, I know enough to understand that a parent can disinherit a child, that there's no law requiring fairness in a will. But morally, emotionally. This was theft of my history, my place in the family, my mother's last words to the world about who mattered. And I was holding the proof. I thought about calling her, picking up the phone, demanding an explanation, asking her why. But I already knew why. Because I got divorced, because I didn't give her grandchildren, because I moved away, built a life she didn't approve of, stopped asking for her permission. Because I survived without her. And she couldn't forgive me for it. I thought about calling Marcus. Telling him I knew, asking him how he could stand by and watch this happen. We'd been close once when we were kids. He used to walk me to school, taught me to ride a bike, snuck me extra cookies when Mom wasn't looking. But that was 20 years ago. Now he had a wife, 2 kids, a mortgage. Now he had everything to gain from my erasure. Cassidy made her choices. I thought about doing nothing. Letting it happen, walking away. Cutting ties completely and building a life so full and bright that their rejection couldn't touch me. But that's what they wanted. For me to disappear quietly, to make it easy. And I was so tired of making things easy. I picked up my phone, Googled asterisk estate attorney Sacramento, started making a list. The first lawyer I call doesn't take my case. Disinheritance disputes are tricky, she says, her voice kind but firm. If the will hasn't been executed yet, there's no legal standing. Your mother has the right to distribute her assets as she sees fit. Even if it's based on lies, I ask, even if my brother manipulated her. A pause. Do you have evidence of undue influence? I look at the draft, the emails. I have proof that he encouraged it. Encouraging isn't coercing, she says gently. I'm sorry, I don't think I can help you. I thank her, hang up. Call the next number on my list. The second lawyer listens longer. His name is Richard Huang. Mid-50s, calm voice, the kind of careful patience that makes me think he's heard worse. I explain the situation, the draft, the emails, the history. What do you want? He asks when I'm done. The question catches me off guard. I want her to see me again, I say finally. I want to matter. That's not something I can give you, he says, but I can help you protect your legal rights. If you believe there's undue influence, or if the will is being modified without your mother's full understanding, if she's being pressured or misled, we can explore your options. Options, I repeat. Document everything, he says. Emails, texts, financial records, anything that shows a pattern of coercion or manipulation. If this goes to probate after she passes, that documentation will matter. And if you can demonstrate that she's not acting of her own free will asterisk now asterisk, we might be able to intervene. How? Adult Protective Services, a wellness check, or a formal challenge to her competency if there's evidence of cognitive decline. My stomach turns. She's not incompetent, she's just angry at me. Then we focus on the influence, he says. But I need to be clear, this will be hard, emotional, expensive, and there's no guarantee of success. As I know. Do you? His voice is soft. Because once you start this, your family will know. There won't be any going back to how things were. I look at the draft. Cassidy A. Morrison removed. There's nothing to go back to, I say. As I hang up. Sit in the quiet. Toulouse jumps onto my lap, purring. I scratch behind his ears and try to breathe. I'm 8 years old. It's summer, the kind of heavy Sacramento summer where the heat shimmers off the pavement, and the air smells like dry grass and sprinkler water. My mother and I are in the backyard. She's teaching me to garden. Tomatoes need patience, she says, crouched beside me in the dirt. Her hands are stained green from the stems. You can't rush them. You just keep showing up, keep watering, keep believing they'll grow. I'm holding a seedling, tiny and fragile, and I'm scared I'll break it. What if I mess it up? I ask. She smiles, puts her hand over mine, steadying it. You won't, she says, I'm right here. As I blink, the memory dissolves. I'm 32, she's not here, and the garden, her garden, the one she's tended all these years, will go to Marcus. I close my eyes. Open them. Start taking notes. The next morning, I call in sick to work. I don't feel sick, I feel sharp, clear, like I've been asleep for 8 years and I'm finally awake. I make coffee, open my laptop, start digging. The first thing I do is document everything I already have. I scan the draft, the cover letter, the email thread, save them to a folder labeled asterisk estate, evidence asterisk, back them up to 3 different cloud drives. Then I start pulling old messages. Texts from my mother over the last 3 years. Calls, voicemails. I go through my phone, my email, my Facebook messages, anything that shows the pattern of estrangement. Most of it is mundane, her asking about my week, me responding, short exchanges that never go anywhere. But there are gaps. Long stretches of silence after I mentioned Aaron's name, after I said I couldn't make it to Marcus's son's birthday party, after I told her I was going to therapy. Therapy is for people who want to blame their parents, she'd said on the phone. I didn't raise you to be a victim. I'd hung up. Didn't call back for 2 months. I pull bank records next. My mother and I have never shared finances. I've been financially independent since college, but I want to see if there's anything unusual. Large transfers, sudden changes. Nothing jumps out, but I do find something else. An old email from my grandfather, sent to me and Marcus when we were in our 20s. He'd attached a copy of the trust he'd set up, explaining how it would be divided when he passed. To my grandchildren equally, because family is blood and love, not conditions. I save the email, print it, add it to the folder. I call my aunt, my mother's sister Linda, on day 2. We haven't spoken in over a year. She lives in Oregon, keeps her distance from family drama, but she's always been kind to me. Fair. Cassidy, she says when she picks up surprised, how are you? I need to ask you something, I say, and I need you to be honest. The pause, okay. Has Mom talked to you about her will? A silence. Then, why are you asking? Because I found a draft, I say, and I'm not in it. She exhales slowly, shit. You knew. I didn't asterisk no asterisk. She mentioned she was making changes. She didn't say what, but Marcus has been involved more than usual, calling her every day, visiting. Influencing her. I don't know, Cass, she's your mom. She makes her own choices. Does she, I ask, or is Marcus making them for her? Another pause, longer this time. What do you need from me? She asks finally. The truth, if you've seen anything that shows he's pushing her, controlling her, isolating her from people who might question this, I need to know. I can't get in the middle of this, she says. You're already in the middle, we all are. She sighs, I'll think about it. She hangs up. Over the next week, I become a person I don't recognize. I spend every evening at my kitchen table, surrounded by papers. I chart timelines. I organize emails by date. I screenshot text messages and print them out, highlighting the patterns. I reach out to old family friends, neighbors who knew me as a kid, my high school art teacher, who still lives 2 streets over from my mother's house. Most of them are sympathetic but wary. I don't want to get involved, says Mrs. Petrov, who used to babysit me. Your mother is a private person. This feels invasive. She's being manipulated, I say. Or she's making her own choice, Mrs. Petrov says gently. Have you considered that? I have. Every day. But I keep digging anyway. On day 9, Linda calls me back. I talked to your mom, she says. My heart stops, you told her. No, I just visited, asked her how she was doing, mentioned you. And she got defensive, said you made your choices, that she couldn't keep trying to fix things. But Cass, she cried, I haven't seen her cry in years. What did she say? She said she misses you, and then Marcus walked in and she stopped talking. I close my eyes. Send me a written statement, I say. Date, time, what you saw, everything. Cassidy, please. She's quiet. Then, okay. Richard Huang calls on day 12. I've reviewed what you sent, he says. It's compelling, not a slam dunk, but compelling. What's next? We set up a meeting with your mother and her attorney. Present the evidence. Give her a chance to reconsider, or at least to confirm she's acting of her own free will. And if she refuses, then we file a formal challenge, but I want to try mediation first. Less adversarial, better optics. In optics, you're trying to prove she's being manipulated, he says. If you come in guns blazing, you'll look like the aggressor. We need to show that you're trying to protect her, not attack her. I hate that he's right. Set it up, I say. I'm 26. Aaron and I have been married for 6 months. We're at my mother's house for Sunday dinner, and everything feels wrong. She's polite to him, too polite, the kind of cold courtesy she reserves for salespeople and distant relatives. She asks him about his music, and when he answers, she changes the subject. Cassidy, did you see the new planters I put in? She asks, turning away from him mid-sentence. I think they'd look nice at your apartment. Mom, I say quietly, Aaron was talking. She looks at me, her eyes are hard. I'm just trying to make conversation, she says. But she's not, she's trying to erase him. Later in the car, Erin says she doesn't like me. She doesn't like change, I say. She doesn't like you asterisk changing, he corrects. He's right. But I don't leave, not yet, I keep showing up, keep trying. It takes 3 more years before I realize. She doesn't want me to grow. She wants me to stay small, manageable hers. And when I refuse, she lets me go. The meeting is scheduled for a Tuesday. 2 weeks after I found the draft. Whitmore and Associates, Conference Room B 10 a.m. Richard sends me a prep email the night before. Be calm, be factual. Don't accuse. Present the evidence and let it speak for itself. Your goal is to open a door, not to win an argument. I read it 5 times. Don't sleep. Show up anyway. The law office smells like carpet cleaner and old coffee. I sit in the waiting room, hands folded in my lap, trying to look calm. Richard is beside me, reviewing notes on his tablet. Across the room, a receptionist types quietly, pretending not to watch me. At 10:03, Marcus walks in. He stops when he sees me. Cassidy, what are you doing here? Same thing you are, I say evenly. His jaw tightens, he looks at Richard, back at me. This is insane, he says. This is necessary, I reply. We're called back at 10:07. The conference room is small, windowless, aggressively neutral. Beige walls, a long table, 6 chairs. My mother is already seated. She looks smaller than I remember. Older. Her hair is more gray than brown now, pulled back in the same bun she's worn my whole life. She's wearing a blouse I gave her 3 Christmases ago. She doesn't look at me when I walk in. Ms. Morrison, Richard says, extending his hand. I'm Richard Huang, thank you for agreeing to meet. She nods, doesn't shake his hand. Marcus sits beside her. The lawyer, Whitmore, a thin man in his 60s with wire-rimmed glasses, sits at the head of the table. I sit across from my mother. For the first time in 8 years, we're in the same room. And she still won't look at me. Richard starts. We're here because Ms. Cassidy Morrison has concerns about recent changes to her mother's estate plan. Specifically, concerns about whether those changes reflect Ms. Helena Morrison's true wishes, or whether they've been unduly influenced by outside parties. That's absurd, Marcus says immediately. I'm not finished, Richard says, calm. We're not here to accuse anyone. We're here to ensure that Mrs. Morrison is making informed, autonomous decisions. If she is, we'll respect that. But given the evidence we've gathered, we believe there are questions that need to be addressed. Whitmore leans forward. What evidence? Richard slides a folder across the table. Email correspondence between Marcus Morrison and Helena Morrison, discussing changes to the will. Text messages showing a pattern of isolation. Ms. Cassidy Morrison's contact with her mother has been consistently discouraged or dismissed over the past 3 years. And testimony from family members indicating that Mrs. Morrison has expressed regret about the estrangement, but has been unable to act on it. My mother's eyes flick up, just for a second. Then back down. This is harassment, Marcus says. You're twisting everything. Mom is making her own choices. Then let her say that, Richard replies. Let her confirm, in her own words, that she wants to disinherit Cassidy, that she understands the consequences, that no one has pressured her. A silence. Whitmore looks at my mother, Helena. She doesn't answer. Mom, Marcus says, leaning toward her, tell them. Still nothing. Helena, Whitmore says again, gentler, do you want to proceed with the changes we discussed? My mother lifts her head. Looks at me for the first time. Her eyes are red. I don't know, she says quietly. The room goes still. Marcus stares at her. What? I don't know, she repeats, louder now. I didn't think she'd be here. I didn't think I'd have to look at her. You don't have to do anything, Marcus says quickly. This is your decision. Is it? I ask. He turns on me. Stay out of this. It's about me, I say, my voice shaking. I'm asterisk in asterisk this. You left, he snaps. You made your choice. I got divorced, I shout and my voice cracks. That's what I did. I left a marriage that wasn't working and she punished me for it. She froze me out, she ignored my calls, she made me feel like I was worthless and you helped her. That's not what happened. Then what did happen, Marcus? Tell me. Explain why I stopped being invited to holidays, why she stopped answering my texts, why you both decided I didn't exist anymore. You didn't asterisk try, he yells back. You just gave up, you stopped coming around, you stopped calling. Because she told me not to. I'm on my feet now, shaking. She told me I made my bed, she told me I was selfish, she told me I wasn't welcome. Enough, my mother says. We both stop. She's standing too, her hands flat on the table. Enough, she says again, quieter, both of you. She looks at me, really looks at me, for the first time in years. You broke my heart, she says. The words hit like a fist. When you married him, she continues. When you left for college, when you stopped needing me, every time you chose something that wasn't asterisk me, it felt like you were leaving. And when the marriage ended, I thought you'd come back, that you'd finally see I was right, but you didn't. You just kept going, and I couldn't stand it. Her voice breaks. I couldn't stand that you didn't need me anymore. I'm 14. My mother and I are fighting. I don't even remember what about. A boy, maybe, or a grade, or a curfew. But I remember what she said, halfway through, when I tried to walk away. Don't you dare turn your back on me. And I remember thinking, I have to, or I'll disappear. I always needed you, I say now, and my voice is raw. I just needed you to let me grow up. She shakes her head. I don't know how to do that. So you erased me instead. A silence. Then quietly, yes. The word hangs in the air. Marcus looks stricken. Whitmore shifts uncomfortably. Richard clears his throat. Ms. Morrison, Helena, do you want to continue with the disinheritance? She looks at the folder, at the emails, at me. I don't know, she whispers. I don't know. Whitmore speaks up. I recommend we table this discussion. Give everyone time to process. Helena, if you'd like to reconsider the changes, we can schedule a follow-up. If not, we'll proceed as planned. But I want to ensure you're making this decision freely. She nods, dazed. Marcus stands. Mom, come on, let's go. She doesn't move. Mrs. Morrison, Richard says carefully, if you'd like to speak with your daughter privately. No, Marcus interrupts, we're leaving. Marcus, my mother says. We're asterisk leaving, he repeats, his voice hard. She looks at me one last time. Then she follows him out. The door closes. I sit down. Richard is quiet beside me. What happens now? I ask. We wait, he says. She has to decide what she wants. And if she decides to go through with it, then we file a formal challenge. But Cassidy, I think you just cracked the door open. I don't feel like I cracked anything open. I feel like I just watched my mother choose my brother over me. Again. I drive home in silence. Park in my driveway, sit in the car, stare at the steering wheel. My phone buzzes. A text from Linda. I heard what happened. Are you okay? I don't answer. Another buzz, an unknown number. I open it. This is Whitmore. Your mother asked me to pass along a message. She wants to talk privately. No lawyers, just the two of you. Let me know if you're willing. I stare at the screen. Read it again. Then I type back when. She asks me to meet her at the house. Not inside, in the backyard, by the garden. I arrive on a Saturday morning, 2 days after the meeting. The house looks the same. Cream siding, blue shutters, the oak tree in the front yard where Marcus and I used to climb. The lawn is mowed. The flower beds are mulched. It looks like a postcard of a happy childhood. I park on the street, walk around to the back gate. She's already there. Sitting on the bench under the pergola, hands folded in her lap. The tomato plants are heavy with fruit, staked and tied, glowing red in the morning light. I stop a few feet away. Hi, I say. Hi, she says back. We stand there. Then she pats the bench beside her. I sit. For a long time, neither of us speaks. Then she says, I planted these in April. I look at the tomatoes. They're beautiful, I say. They're late, she says. I didn't water them enough in June, too busy, but they came through anyway. I don't know what to say to that. I used to think you couldn't survive without me, she continues. When you were little, and then when you got older, I kept thinking it, even when it was clear you could, even when you were asterisk. She looks at me. I hated it, she says. I hated that you didn't need me. I did need you, I say. I still do. Not the way I wanted, she says. Not the way I needed you to. She reaches into her pocket, pulls out a folded piece of paper. I brought this, she says. I want you to read it. I unfold it. It's a letter, handwritten, her handwriting cramped and slanted. Cassidy asterisk. I've been angry at you for 8 years. Angry that you left. Angry that you didn't ask for my help. Angry that you built a life I didn't understand and didn't invite me into. But the truth is, I wasn't angry, I was scared. Scared that if you didn't need me, you'd stop loving me. Scared that I'd done something wrong as a mother. Scared that I'd lost you and it was my fault. Marcus told me it would be easier to let you go, that it would hurt less. But it didn't, it hurt every day. I don't know if I can undo what I've done. I don't know if you'll forgive me. But I need you to know, I never stopped loving you. I just didn't know how to show it without holding on too tight. I'm sorry. Mom asterisk. I read it twice. Fold it. Hold it in my hands. I don't know what to do with this, I say finally. You don't have to do anything, she says. I just needed to say it. Are you keeping me in the will? She's quiet. Then, yes. I exhale. I called Whitmore yesterday, she says. Told him to revert to the original version, 50-50, you and Marcus. What did Marcus say? He's upset, she smiles faintly. He'll get over it. Will he? I don't know, she admits, but that's his problem, not yours. We sit. The tomatoes sway gently in the breeze. I can't go back to how things were, I say. Before, I can't be who I was when I was younger. As I know. And I can't promise I'll call every week, or show up to every holiday, or let you make decisions for me. I know, she says again. But I want to try, I say, if you do. She looks at me, reaches out, takes my hand. I want to try, she says. We sit like that for a while. Then she stands. I made lemonade, come inside. I follow her into the kitchen. The house smells the same, lavender and lemon cleaner, the faint, sweet scent of her lotion. She pours 2 glasses, we sit at the table. Tell me about your students, she says. And I do. I don't move back in. I don't call every Sunday. But I call sometimes, and she answers. We don't fix everything. The hurt is still there, the scar tissue thick and tender. Marcus doesn't speak to me for 6 months. Linda keeps her distance, wary of taking sides. But the will is changed. The final version, executed 3 weeks after our meeting in Whitmore's office, splits everything equally. My name is back in. Every paragraph, every clause, every distribution. Richard sends me a certified copy. I read it once, then file it away in a drawer with the draft I found that October night. Contest proof, not because I manipulated it, because I told the truth. 3 months later, my mother texts me a photo. It's the garden. The tomato plants are bare now, stripped for winter, but she's planted something new in the bed beside them. Sunflowers asterisk, the text says, for spring, thought you might like them. I zoom in on the photo. See the small wooden stake at the edge of the bed, the kind you use to mark what you've planted. Written in her handwriting, Cassidy's corner. I'm standing in my kitchen now, the same kitchen where I found the draft 6 months ago. The manila envelope is still on the shelf. I keep it there, Not as a weapon, but as a reminder. Proof that I existed, that I fought to be seen. The laptop is closed, the rain has stopped. Toulouse is asleep in the chair. And on the table, in a mason jar filled with water, is a single sunflower. My mother dropped it off yesterday, didn't stay long, just handed it to me at the door and said, "First bloom, I thought you'd want to see it." I put it in water, set it where the light hits it in the morning. It's small, not perfect. The petals are a little lopsided, the stem thin. But it's growing. And for now, that's enough. I don't know what happens next. I don't know if my mother and I will ever be close the way we were when I was 8, digging in the dirt beside her, believing she'd always be right there. I don't know if Marcus and I will ever sit at the same table without the weight of what happened pressing down between us. I don't know if the will ever matter, if she'll live another 20 years, or if I'll be standing in that house next week, sorting through her things, holding the proof that I was loved after all. But I know this. I found the draft. I kept the paper. And I didn't let them erase me. If someone in your life has ever made you feel invisible, like you didn't matter, like you could be written out, I hope this story reminds you, you're still here, you still count. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is refuse to disappear.